Guess what day it is? Worship Wednesday. So I know you guys are going to be listening to another faculty testimony this afternoon during House, so I'm going to keep this shorter than I typically do. First of all, happy Easter. It's still Easter. It's going to be Easter until Pentecost, which is May 31st this year. So we'll have plenty of time to recover from the coronavirus, and then we'll be able to celebrate Easter in the way we're supposed to. But there's one thing that I really wanted to talk about today. It's sort of come up in my own life and some of my interactions with you guys. This increasing sense of isolation that coronavirus brings about. All these shelter-in-place orders. I mentioned previously we're no longer able to do the things we're used to doing. No longer to see our friends in the same way and all that kind of stuff. And for a couple of weeks, I don't know, maybe you want to get rid of your friends for a little bit and you don't want to spend time with them. But there comes a point, and I think we're approaching that where we currently are in this pandemic, where we really start to miss the people we took for granted, the people we spend time with on a daily basis. Just a couple examples to help illustrate this point. I visited my parents not too long ago, kept appropriate social distancing, did everything I was supposed to, so don't judge me, please. But my mom had a story that she shared about my Aunt Christy, something that happened relatively recently during this pandemic. My Aunt Christy she's awesome. She's pretty amazing. But she had a literal meltdown. And she just cried out, I just want to have lunch with my sister and I want to go shopping and I can't. And she just broke down for a little bit. And I chuckled at it a little bit, but then I realized, well, I sort of feel that sometimes too. Sometimes it gets to be, seems like it's a lot more than we can handle. And that's okay, it's understandable. It's miserable whenever it happens, but it's understandable. And that's something that happened in my own life. Last week, there was literally a day where I did not talk to anyone at all. I mean, not even through the phone, not even on Facebook or some sort of messaging service. I literally did not talk to anyone. And the introvert in me was sort of like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. But then I reflected back on my own struggles with depression and anxiety, which I've shared with you guys a couple of times in the past. And something that always sort of makes those worse is whenever we're isolated, whenever we don't have the same friends or maybe even the same family members around us that we tend to rely on. And that goes back to a really large point, something we've been covering in both our theology classes, specifically the church and social justice. As human beings, we're by nature social. And when, for whatever reason, I'll say a global pandemic and we've got a social distance, we're not able to be social in the same way we're used to, we're meant to be, then sometimes we sort of act out a little bit. We feel down, we feel depressed, we feel even more anxious. And the other insidious thing about depression and anxiety, sort of the worse you feel about them, sort of the worse it gets. It's like a positive feedback loop. So here's what I want you guys to do. Take some time to reflect on the past couple weeks. And have you found yourself feeling lonely at times? Do you find yourself missing your friends? Missing the people you usually spend time with? If so, realize that that's perfectly okay and it's understandable. And what I want you to do is make an active effort to reach out to your friends, to reach out to your family members. An example of this, whenever I realized last week, I think it was Monday, I didn't talk to anyone for an entire day. I shared something with my family, and within moments, all my friends were there. They were messaging me, checking to see how I was doing. My sister Erin, she even FaceTimed me, and I got a chance to see both my nieces and her husband Josh. And I was in a bit of on the edge of a dark place. And just that simple little phone call, that simple little FaceTime, it just improved my outlook for the entire week. So keep that in mind. And challenge yourself sometime this week to reach out to a friend you haven't heard from in a while, to reach out to a family member you haven't heard from in a while. Obviously, practice appropriate social distancing, but give them a call, FaceTime them, Zoom them, anything like that. And as usual, I have a song that I'm going to share with you guys. It's a really good song. It's also a really simple song. No, it's not Audrey Assad, don't worry. It's from a folk group from Canada called the Wailin' Jennies. And it's originally a Dolly Parton song. By the light of a clear blue sky. Or by the light of a clear blue morning. And I want you to pay attention to it. Like I said, it's just a simple song, but it's a good comfort song. Especially in this place we find ourselves currently with the pandemic. Because, and this is the truth that's revealed by Easter, darkness is not the end. Because with any sort of death, there comes the resurrection. And we're bound for one the next couple weeks, whenever this coronavirus finally runs its course, and we'll be able to go back to a certain extent to business as usual. But until that time, know that I love you, that I'm here for you if you need anything. Stay strong, and we'll get through this. I'll talk to you later.